Hi everyone.
G'day.
Welcome to Parkside Live. It's great to have you joining us, wherever you're joining us from. We'd love to hear from you. So, as we're chatting, if you want to write a comment or interact in that way, or if you're watching it later, you can leave us a message on any of our socials or on YouTube when we post it. And we'd love to hear from you, and we'll get back to you when we can. We hope that our chat encourages you in your faith journey. And we'll be chatting about changing the face of the world.
And we want to begin our chat by talking about awe. The idea that we can be confronted with something that is so overwhelming that we are left feeling confused and bewildered.
Yep.
An example of what I mean, I was spearfishing not too long ago, and there was a shelf underwater, and so I was floating up on the surface, and I had to dive down a little bit, so I hold my breath, and then there was a shelf, and you could see all these fish darting in and out of the shelf. And so to catch a fish, I had to get down low enough to catch one, to get close enough. And so I'd held my breath and I'd sunk down towards this shelf, and I was just waiting for my moment. And as I was lying, well, it wasn't quite lying, but as I was floating in the water, suddenly the ocean went black, and I was very confused. What's going on? And I think I froze for a moment, and then I rolled over onto my side mid-water, and there was just this black shape above me, big enough to block out the sun, and the bubbles escaped, and I just started to swim away as quickly as. But as I swam away, I realised that what it was, a huge ray had simply swum over the top of me. But this was mammoth. It was bigger across than I am long. It was huge, and it quite literally blocked out the sun. And when it happened, I didn't know where I was and what was happening. And I was very, very much reminded of how small a part of that little ecosystem I was. And if something like that chose to take a dislike to me, that it wouldn't have been very fun. And I laughed about it kind of as my head broke the water, because there's relief. But even now, the memory of just something so big, and then as I swam away, it was so graceful. It literally looked like it was flying through the water, and its fins. It was incredible, and probably a bit of a softball for you, because you're a person who loves to be in awe and overwhelmed. Can you think of something recently, a moment when you've been overwhelmed?
I think there always is for me, because I'm looking for it. But I was thinking, even on the last clear night that I went for a walk, if anyone goes for a walk with me, they either have to put up with standing still.
Yes, I've been there. Yeah.
Standing still for a while, or wondering where I've gotten to. Because some days, I'll go for a walk outside, and I just am looking up, and I can't not look up. I need to just keep looking to kind of take it in, and just the awe of, a sky filled with stars, like just the blackness, and there's just something. I don't know that sometimes people say, when we see the stars, or we can feel small in the universe. I don't think I ever have, because I just have the sense of just how amazing that is, and yes, how vast, but just that I get to be a part of it, I think is amazing. So I don't ever feel, oh no, I'm so tiny, even though I know that I am in the grand scheme of the universe. But it just amazes me all the time when I look up. I find it hard to look away.
Yeah. And when we're talking about awe, it changes us. It changes us. There's scientists have done research and they say that awe has actually, when we have that moment of something, encountering something bigger than us, and it shifts our perspective. You know, when we're talking about awe, the word actually comes from a Greek word that means pain or fear. Like it is that influential in our lives when we experience it. And when we have these moments of awe in our lives, it changes, it rewires actually how we think. It makes us more connected socially. It actually changes our behavior so that we behave in a way that is more likely to build connections. It's more likely to contribute to community.
Yeah, you're supposed to, like, it is supposed to, it helps you, or people have been shown to be like kinder and more thoughtful towards others.
That's exactly
after they've experienced it.
More pro-social. Kinder. Yep, definitely. And even then for us, when we have these experiences of awe that overwhelm us, that actually we feel better about ourselves. Like this is the experience of awe. And yet for many of us, when we live in a life where we have appointment after appointment, where we have deadlines that we've got to meet, where we've got sometimes difficult and challenging roles that we need to complete, often awe is the furthest thing from what we feel. Drudgery perhaps is a more accurate or maybe average. And perhaps you can relate to those things. And in the middle of that life, it's worth asking ourselves the question, when was the last time I felt awe? When was the last time that I was genuinely bewildered and inspired by something at the same time? It changes us. And there's many places that we can draw awe from. For me, it's often nature. You know, for you, often, research actually points that when we encounter nature, it draws out of us something different. And so that can be one way. And when we go into exploring changing the face of the earth, we want to draw inspiration, as we so often do, from the scriptures. And there's we're going to just read actually a few short sentences from a psalm. It's the book of Psalms, and chapter 105 or chapter 104 or Psalm 104 simply says this. Hang on, here we go. It says, when you give them your breath, life is created and you renew the face of the earth. That one short sentence. Now, if you want to go and have a look at this for yourself, you know, for some of you, you might not be inclined to read the Bible, but the them there, the author of this psalm has just described all these different living creatures. Rabbits that live on the mountains, lions that feed on the sheep, creatures that live in the ocean. And he's saying all of these things look to you for their life. That you are the one who gives them life. And this is an experience of awe. And when we are caught in our lives, focus on the next deadline. When we are dealing with sometimes a very real crisis. And for you and I, that might be financial, that might be a health crisis. It may be that we are confronted even with crises that exist in the world. You know, the horrors that are being inflicted on the Palestinians in Gaza right now. When we are confronted by those things, it is, I think, a very human response to be overwhelmed by that and challenged and even driven to despair by that. And we're not talking about a magic pill that makes everything go away. Or doesn't solve those. But it does change what we focus on. And when we can take a moment like this, when we can experience something bigger than ourselves, ironically, those issues, being confronted by sickness, being confronted by the horrible tragedy that's being inflicted on the people of Gaza right now, that then we take our experience of awe and that actually connects us more deeply to one another. Because we realize that I am not the center of the universe, and that we only have a very short space of time on this very small blue dot that is floating in thousands and thousands and thousands of light years of space. And we see that here, that these moments of awe, you know, when there's a story, another story in the scriptures of a man who got into conflict with his brother, and his father sent him away. He said, you can't stay here. This is not the place for you. You don't have a future here. And so he left, and he's literally wandering homeless, and he just finds dirt for his bed and a stone for a pillow. And in that moment, he has this dream of a ladder that goes up to heaven. And he sees all these transcendent beings moving, a bit of a stoner dream maybe. And then he awakes and he says, God was in this place and I did not know it. This is awesome.
Yep.
And I think he was confronted by those feelings of fear and awe. And when we encounter God, when I encounter God for myself, over and above nature, over and above that, I somehow realize I am not the center of the universe. I somehow realize that life is not defined by me. I simply experience it, and that there is something beyond me that sustains my life. And I think awe in itself can be life-sustaining, but an encounter with someone who is awesome, actually, like it says here in this sentence, that when you breathe out, it gives life.
Yeah.
And so if you're going through a difficult time right now, I encourage you, find awe.
Yeah.
Like, just put yourself in places where you are overwhelmed, where you are confronted by things that are beyond what you can control, even sometimes beyond what you can understand. And it doesn't matter what you believe, like that's powerful. But I would say that when you encounter God, when you encounter the breath of God, the Spirit of God in your life, that is a life-changing moment. And we read here that there is this breath. There is this breath of God, and that reminds me of the story that's told about how humanity begins, that God is shaping the first seeds of humanity out of the dirt, and he breathes. And that word for breath, as an ancient Hebrew word, ruach, but it can be used also to mean spirit.
Yeah.
And so there is something about the spirit of the life-giving creator that is in me and you and you. And when we are confronted by challenge, we may not feel that, and yet we're reminded here that when the creator of the universe gives life, gives breath, that life takes place. And if you're in a moment where you feel like life is starting to slip away, where hope is starting to fade, where the light that gave you energy is starting to dim, then I want to tell you that there is a way that new life can begin. When we read again through the scriptures that there is a possibility that not from within us, this is not actually about self-help.
Yep.
You know, I don't have to sit here and try to summon this up. I'm not sure if you've ever tried to hold your breath. I'm on a bit of a challenge at the moment where I'm trying to endure cold showers, and I'm not doing too well. I'm only like 30 seconds holding my breath, and then I just need to breathe. And it's a very clear and sometimes painful reminder that what I need for life comes from without outside. I need that breath to
Yep.
come into my lungs. And when we are going through a difficult time, I think instead of looking up, as you've said, we have a different tendency. Our tendency is to look in, to become very focused on what's going on. You can, and to realize in that moment that what I need is not actually more introspection.
Yep.
It's not. I need a breath of life from outside. I need new life. And when we read again the stories in the scriptures, we're told that when Jesus walked this earth, that after he was crucified and then came back to life, when he encountered his closest followers, that they responded to him with fear. But he breathed on them and he said, "Receive my spirit." And it was that moment that these ordinary people went from hiding in fear, and they were afraid of being arrested. They were afraid of being mobbed. They were afraid of being ostracized by their communities. And yet in that moment, something new took the place of fear, and they stepped out in courage, and they went public, and they went loud, and they said, "No, we need to speak this life that we've experienced into the world." And history will tell you that they changed the face of the earth. That in those early days, if you were poor, the people that cared for you were the people who had experienced this life of Jesus. That if you were in a group that was pushed to the side, that the people who welcomed you were these people who themselves were pushed to the side but had experienced something of new life. And we read this here, that it's not only life, but actually that that the face of the earth is renewed. And I think there's a clear connection here between our experience of awe, coming to the Creator with a sense of awe and wonder, and our impact in the world. And that Jesus actually invites us to step in to this life that he offers. One of those early leaders writes about participating in the divine nature, and that somehow you and I, that we can all be connected at the deepest part of who we are with the life that gives a heartbeat to the universe, with the one who spoke existence into being. And I want to tell you, this is not about self-help.
No.
Because in that moment, we see the creator of the universe become the crucified. We see the one who gives life have life taken away from them. And this invitation is actually to step into that and to say, take my life. I'm coming to this moment and I want to walk away with a new sense of life. But in order to do that, we just simply come to Jesus and we say, I give you what I have. We allow ourselves to be overwhelmed by the one who allowed themselves to be overwhelmed. And in the same way that the creator of life took new life again, that we can actually receive that new life, and that we can then step out courageously as those first followers did, and that we can make a mark on this world. And as you are watching this, you may be going through your own challenges. You may be feeling your own sense of despair. Perhaps you're just simply at a point in your life and you're saying, I want to see change. That may be a personal change. You may want to see change the face of the world. And I want to tell you that the creator of the universe steps into our lives so that we can see the earth renewed. There's a famous prayer that talks about the dominion, the influence of God being experienced on this earth as it is experienced in heaven. And if that's what you want to see, then we invite you to just pray this short prayer with us right now. Jesus, I give you my life. Give me your breath. Give me your spirit. Give me your life. And if you want to see that, then let's just pray, hey? Jesus, I give you my life. Give me your breath. Give me your spirit. Renew the face of this earth. And if you prayed that prayer, that's a whole new beginning. We'd love to support you on the next step, whatever that is. As Renata said at the start, please drop us a comment, drop us a DM. We'd love to support you. And if you're in Southwest Sydney, drop in, and we'd love to share a little bit of life with you around this table with some other friends. Thanks for tuning in. God bless you.
Bye.